not new. It's my elder sister's own. She's back in school, and that's why mommy gave me so that I can use it for my computer programming. It's okay, bring it, let me have a look. And she opened the device, come and see pawns on this laptop. She was shocked. Wiped the videos out, because if that child had opened the system, you understand, she will see something and then other friends will say, what's that? What is this? What is this? Thank God she, you know, saw the videos first. We needed to wipe them out and then call the mother. Did you check this device? I'm busy now. I'm busy. It was the sister. She's back in school. Do you even know? Said the videos are so much that she's never seen such in her life before. This is just a girl who is under 20, exposing even the younger ones to things they are not supposed to see. So that I'm happy that we are able to do this. And thank you for coming. We'll also appreciate those who will be joining us online. Thank you and thank you. They are more than us. Online people are even more than, but it's okay. Here, we have the advantage of the IT people getting the device and helping you out to block whatever we need to do. Thank you. Thank you. And I know that we're going to have a great time. We're happy to receive you once again. Thank you.
All right. Good morning. I must start by apologizing that we started late. Devices. We had planned our video, and then our video camera came and it's not sending input to the system. So that's why we're having to improvise with the phone for video, and then we still have some. But thank you for being patient. Thank you for not starting to shout at us. Why is this not started? And thank you so much for not. We're not always like this, but well, apologies today. Thank you for joining us. Those of you on Zoom, those of you who are driving, if you are driving, please just put it on audio and if possible, do hands-free before they catch you. And then they ask you to pay fine and you say, no, I'm trying to help my child. They won't hear that one. You know our people. Thank you. Without wasting time, this is not going to be a long meeting, just 2 sessions, and we're going to go right into the first one. And today, to take us into the first session, we have a parent in Brainy Hive. Interesting, all our resource persons are parents here. So we are not telling you things out of over your head, things that we do and things that people. Mr. George Uko, some of you know him. He's a very versatile, dynamic tech entrepreneur, very, very experienced. He's been doing a lot of things, cybersecurity, online education, a lot of things. I don't have his profile here because the profile is not the purpose of today, but I think when he delivers, you would let the content speak for itself. Let's not read bogus profiles, but I'm sure that Mr. George is going to do justice to his topic. And it's going to be talking about cybersecurity, the issues that our kids are exposed to online. Most of us distract our children with devices. We use internet, we use TV, we use phones. You know what? I'm busy, take this. And we are not sure that we have done the necessary things. And have your kids use words that you never knew before. Like, what did you hear that? Yeah, your madam, never use this English. Where you getting it from? Those are the things. And there's more than just the words they pick. So Mr. George is going to take us on that. Mr. George, Uko, father to analyst, and what's your other brother's name again? And he has two kids at Brainy Hive. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning, fellow parents. My name is Uko George. Mike. Okay, fine. My name is Uko George. Let me start by saying that I'm not a cybersecurity expert. Start with my specialization or my specialty is in data analytics. But you know that anybody who is into data must have some level of experience as far as cyber do with data and secure your data. Put it down. Sharing the mic. Someone should not say we're not COVID-19 compliant. All right. Okay, fine. Thank you for permitting me to talk without the face mask. Okay, fine. What prompted me to want to do this was that I had a video sent to me, just like she shared an experience, and I have my own experience. And on the video, parents, and I've had parents over time engage me on how they could be able, how they can secure the devices for their children. A parent particularly sent a video to me, and I was shocked. That was when I decided to take it seriously. And on the video, we had 3 siblings. To tell you how serious, 3 siblings. And these 3 siblings were like age 7, 5, and 3 were having sex. And they were videoing themselves, siblings. And it caught me that with this age of internet, we really need to take parental control seriously. But I won't be talking about parental control because the next speaker will be drilling into parental control. I want to talk about cybersecurity because it goes beyond parental control. It goes beyond securing devices for your children. The best way to protect your child against attack is for you yourself to be aware of the techniques, of the tools, and the strategies attackers use or deploy. I said the best way or the best form of you trying to protect your child, your children from the hazards is by, first of all, you educating yourself about cybersecurity. Now, you don't need to be an expert, but you need basic understanding of the strategies and the tools and the techniques. Let me just put it that way, the tricks that cyber hackers or cyber fraudsters use in order to get to you or to get to your child. Because if they get to your child, they might eventually get to you. Most times you share your device with your children. You hand your phone or your laptop over to them. So you need to educate them on the things they need to do and things they don't have to do, because if invariably they do things they don't need to do, they end up exposing your data. So those are the things I'll be dealing on, while the next speaker will now go into parental control and show you the practical ways to set up your devices or set up devices in order to ensure that your kids don't get to the kind of sites or the kind of places on the internet that ordinarily they shouldn't get to. So who is going to control should I be the one to do this? Please help me out with the slide. So like I said, my name is Uko George. Like I said, my expertise is in data analytics. I'm a certified Google data analyst. And let me just stop at that, because it's not the day for profiling. And I've had over 12 years experience in this line of business. Next slide. So today we'll be looking at basically, wow, is there any way you could adjust? Whoa. The contrast. Okay, let's see, is the projector. The font. I know maybe the background would have been black. Next one is better. So it would have been better on black. Can we quickly change the back, or we just do it that way? No, the other ones are not black. Anyway, so the content for today, we want to look at cybersecurity, types of cyber attacks, cyber threats facing kids, your children, and then some cyber strategy and implementation plan for you. Next slide. Okay, so quickly, I know when we talk about cybersecurity, a lot of us think, these are things that happened abroad. These are things that happen only to companies, not under any form of cyber threat. It's a lie. Now, studies have shown that, especially after the pandemic, we have today data shows that 30,000 websites are attacked every day. 30,000 websites And there are cyber attacks that happens every 39 seconds. There is an attack. And in 2020 was the record year for, distributed domain denial of service attack, which we'll explain later. And then Nigerian banks lost 1.9 billion to cyber fraud in 2018. And currently there is a spike due to coronavirus. Now the banks will not tell you this, and that's the truth, because they won't want to scare you. They wouldn't want to scare you. I know we have bankers in our midst. They won't tell you this. They experience cyber attack on a daily basis, whether the attackers end up successfully breaking into the system or not, but they experience attack on a daily basis. But you'll be rest assured that your money is insured in the bank, so you don't have anything to fear. So even if they succeed, that's none of your problem. It's the bank's problem. Your money is insured. But I just want to tell you that these things are happening even in Nigeria, and it's happening on a daily basis. Next slide. Now, what is cybersecurity? It's practically it's a way of protecting systems and network programs from digital attack. Next slide, quickly. Okay. Now, I want to take you through 4 basic cyber attacks. The ones that are more frequent, 4 of them. So that, and these are things you encounter on a daily basis. You might not know. You might not know. Some of you, as we speak, your systems are exposed. The laptop you're using are exposed. And I'll show you why. Now, the most common attack is called phishing attack. Now, these are the ones you and I engage on daily basis, because phishing attack is simply when an attacker masquerades as a trusted entity, especially the banks, dupe victims into opening an email or instant messages or text messages, send you WhatsApp messages, send you emails, instant messages on Messenger, and it's a phishing attack. How do they do this? Most times they try to make sure that the URL looks like your bank, especially your bank URL. For instance, maybe it's a mail from GT Bank or from Zenith Bank, but in the URL, it is not actually the bank's URL. There is 1 or 2 letters that could be changed, altered. It could be, let's say, www.uba/student/days. I'm just for want of words, but the student might be spelled wrongly. And if you do not take time to look at it properly and you click on it, you're exposed. You are exposed. It takes you to a site, and the site looks like the site of UBA. Sorry for using UBA if there's any UBA staff here, but I'm just trying to paint a picture. The site is a replica of UBA's site. And it takes you from step to steps to fill in your details, fill in your bank details and stuff like that. At the end of the day, you find out that service is disrupted. What the person has succeeded to do is to take that information that you've just filled in, your name, your address, for whatever purpose, to get that information. And that information could be used to hack your account, could be used to impersonate you. These are the consequences. A lot of Nigerians, when they get abroad, I'm telling you the truth, they get abroad, they get nabbed by Interpol. Why? Because their digital identity had been stolen and has been used to commit fraud. I'm trying to show you the degree. I know most times we are just callous about it. As we speak, a lot of us in Africa or in Nigeria's identity has been stolen. They've either used your stolen identity or your IP to perpetrate fraud. And Interpol has you in their log, not you here, in their log as a criminal, cyber criminal, wanted. And the day you step foot in the United States, handcuffs. And by the time they go through audit trail, it shows that it was from your computer, it was from your IP address and all that. So it's not just about getting into your bank account. Because most times that's the one we all know that, okay, they want to get into my bank account. It's not just that. The purpose or the objective of the attack or a phishing attack could be to get into your bank account or to impersonate you because they've gotten your identity and they could use your identity to perpetrate fraud. Now, that brings us to the argument where they say Nigeria, internet fraud is booming in Nigeria. Nigerians are into internet fraud. It could be true and it may not be true because there are lots of people using Nigerians' identities that are not Nigerians outside the country perpetrating fraud. But with Interpol, all they know is that they are Nigerians. So you need to be wary of these little techniques or strategies or tricks. You need to always look at the URL, the Uniform Resource Locator. Look at it very well. Observe that there are no misspellings because the easiest trick is to do. They will clone the entire URL and ensure that maybe just one letter is missing or one letter is not correct. And the moment you click, it takes you to a replica of the site you wanted to go to in order to get your information. So phishing is the most common attack, most common, and is also very deadly. It could come via your WhatsApp messages. It could come through text messages. It could come through emails. So you need to be aware and also teach your kids to be aware of the different strategies or tricks fraudsters use to gain access to sensitive information. Next slide. The second type of attack is called malware attack, also very common. What we commonly call virus. Now, the virus is not just to slow down your system. When you say, there's a virus in my system, like I just experienced something on my system while I was trying to edit the slide. I noticed that there was a code running behind my system. A code that I myself I have no knowledge of. And that tells me something is wrong. That system has been compromised. So most of the time you have this experience where your system is slow and you just think, okay, it's a virus attack, I'll do antivirus or I'll do this later, you postpone. The implication of not addressing it immediately is that you are exposing your system. Now, when a malicious code is implanted on your system, it means that the moment you go online, whoever put the virus there have access to whatever you're doing. So when you're visiting your website, visiting your bank site or visiting any site, they can see what you're doing. They're getting those information. Now, I'm saying it because there's been a lot of attack these days. My mother, just 3 weeks ago, had an ATM clone. My mom. I don't know how it happened. I know my younger brother uses the ATM for maybe buying things online. But our ATM was cloned and about 150,000 naira was taken off our account. In fact, when she sent someone to go get money for her, they went and they saw that this is a balance. She was like, no, this cannot be my balance. And when we went to the bank to get statements, we now found out that there have been deductions from unknown person. In fact, I went as far, because I took it up myself, I went as far as getting to the bank, and then they showed me the CCTV camera footage of the person. I couldn't identify the person. The young smart guy knew that there will be a camera there, so wore a face cap, and then put in exacting and everything and the exact amount, the sequence in which he withdrew. How did he get my mom's? Was he able to clone my mom's card? It's a mystery till today. But it's as a result of carelessness on the part of, I believe, my younger, because my mom doesn't do online shopping. So I know it's either my younger brother who has not been vigilant enough to use my mom's card to buy things online, may have exposed a detail. Because there's no way they would have gotten a PIN number, gotten the, what's it called, at behind, everything, the PIN. So these attacks are happening on a daily. Now, this is a personal experience. Nobody said, then tell me, personal. No, so it could be as a result of a malware in the system while he's trying to buy things online. And because of the malicious code on the system that's got into the system, the attacker is getting the kinds of information he or she wants. Look, cyber attackers are in fact, they are professionals and they take their jobs seriously. Just like you go to work and take your work seriously, they take their jobs. They sit on the system, on their console from morning till night, on the dashboard, looking for systems to act. So it's a job for them. No matter how you say, okay, my antivirus is updated, man, those guys are also sitting down to look at ways to, circumvent whatever security you have on your system. So they mean business. They are there looking at. So the moment your system is on and is online, boom, they get a prompt that, okay, so system is now online, and they begin to watch everything you're doing. That's how they get information. So you need to know this in order also to educate your children, especially the teens. All right, next. The next attack. Okay, man in the middle attack. Now, the man in the middle attack is also very common. There are more attacks. I'm just looking at 4 common ones. Man in the middle attack is also very common. Man in the middle attack is where an attacker intercepts a communication between 2 parties, either to securely eavesdrop or modify traffic traveling between 2 entities. Explain. Now, man in the middle is more like, now this one does not attack your system as maybe implant codes in your system, but the moment you are online, the person intercepts the traffic in between you and, let's say, why am I using bank all the time? Maybe because that's mostly where attackers, where your money is, and that's where the attackers really have interest in. For instance, I'm just saying, for instance, because most times the banks are more secured, so it's not mostly the bank. It's more like even going to a website, an e-commerce site and stuff like that. So you're trying to go to that site. They stand in the middle without any activity. They don't do nothing. They intercept the traffic and they just sit down, eavesdropping, deciphering whatever you're doing. Now they come in and come out. By the time they do an audit trail, they won't even know somebody intercepted. That's the truth. So the thing is that by the time they are in there and there's a transaction back and forth between you, party 1, and the next party 2, which could be another server of the e-commerce platform or whatever, or the e-shop, e-store, let me put it that way. They stand in the middle, ciphering information they need, getting the kind of information that are relevant to them. As a matter of fact, they have a program that takes virtually everything you do. They only make sure that they now come and edit and look at the information that are sensitive. That's another form of attack. So they could just stand in the middle, inactively doing nothing. They could as well decide to redirect your traffic. Meaning that now I want to visit. That's okay. So stop. And I want to buy something. I want to do something. They stand in the middle. By the time the server of that company, they intercept. Now you think you're communicating with your bank server, let me put it that way. You think you're communicating with your bank server, but you're communicating, your system is communicating with an attacker. So if they have a replica of the system of the server or the information you seek, they could design the same or clone the site in order for you to be engaging on that phony site, that fraudulent site, thinking it's your bank site. Thinking is your bank site. And in that process, your information is breached, your information has been stolen, you are left open. All right, next, last one. Denial of service. Well, this is more common with organizations. It doesn't really affect users or personal users like us. I think more of organization whereby a legitimate user are unable to access information system, devices, or network resource due to attack of a malicious cyber threat. This is mostly for ransomware, where the attackers get access into the server, locks down the site, for instance, the bank site, bank, money anyway, lock down the bank site, and then tells the bank, you need to pay me XYZ figure, or else I'll not release your site. So that's more like attack for corporate entity. So But not to say that you shouldn't know this, because there's also what we call DDoS, meaning the distributed denial of service, and that's one of the things they use stolen identity for. Now, if they succeed in getting your digital identity, they could use that identity to perpetrate fraud, attack a server using DDoS strategy, meaning that they could use his identity, if he's stolen his identity, and then they now flood the server. Because most of these servers are protected, so they will try to use come from different angles, more like bombard the server in order to find wherever the server is vulnerable, and if they can penetrate the perpetrated attack with your identity. Let's move on. So, having said this, how does this portend threat to our children, to our kids? In what form does this relate to our children? Because what we've discussed so far mostly relates to us. But remember, I said that if you must educate your child, if you must educate your words on how to be cybersecurity conscious, you yourself need some minimal education. You need some minimal awareness. You need to know some of the tricks and some of the tricks the fraudsters, the attackers deploy or use in order to gain access to sensitive information. First of all, the first one is anonymous sharing. The second one is, that's for kids now, they get them through anonymous sharing. We'll talk more about that. They also get them through direct messaging, email attachments, video streaming apps, and video gaming apps, especially. Let's move on. Now, anonymous sharing, popular among teens, apps like Snapchat. Yes, you would say Snapchat is secured. Yeah, the server is secured and all that. But in this case, you need to educate your children that, yes, you put on picture. Now I'm talking anonymous sharing apps, even in some education apps as well. So what you need to do is to let them know that, yes, some of the things you put on platforms, social media platforms such as Snapchat, yes, you could say the platform is secured, but be careful of the kind of things you send. Don't send sensitive information. Because even if you think you've deleted them, for instance, Snapchat, you put something up there, after some time it disappears. It does not disappear. There's what we call digital footprint. The moment you step on the internet, you've left a footprint. It is trackable. Even when you exit, you have left a footprint. It is mimic after the physical world. The moment you step in, I've made a footprint. The moment I touch this, I've left my fingerprint. So it can, forensic investigative officers can come, and you know what they do, their stuff, and they know that, okay, yes, Uko George, your print was found on this, the way it is on the internet. So there is nothing, absolutely nothing you put on the internet that you think I have deleted that is still not on the internet. Those who have the expertise and the knowledge can always go back. So one, don't share sensitive information. Don't share sensitive information on these apps, especially on apps, because children love apps a lot. Some apps are more like apps whereby the pairs can be sharing information, and it could even be educational. But because it's education doesn't mean it's secured. You need to educate them on the kind of information they should put on such platform. Don't just put on any kind of information. I know David is going to talk more about cyberbullying and all that. So let's move to next slide. Like after school app, let's move to next slide. Discuss the information that needs to be shared. Now, email. Avoid clicking on messages with unusual amount of typo and misspellings. I said it earlier, that's the truth. Emails, messages, whether it's on WhatsApp, Messenger, whatever. Avoid, pay attention to, because we don't pay attention to it, so that's the truth. The moment it just looks like a site we know, it's coming from a source we know, we don't take time to look at the URL to be sure that is authentic. And the moment you click, it takes you to a phishing site. So you need to be conscious, and you need to teach your kids too to be conscious. Yes, it might look like their school website. Let me put it that way. It might not necessarily be. So teach them how to be able to decode, how to look at the links properly in order for them not to go to a phishing site, thinking they're going to their school website or thinking they're going to whatever platform they had interest going to. So educate them as well, as much as you educate yourself. Now, messaging asking for personal information such as PIN, this is common to Nigerians. In fact, I still don't know. People still fall for this prank. People still fall for this. Seriously speaking, I was in a keke a few weeks back, and the next thing, the keke man just told me, please, pardon me, can you just excuse me? I want to send a message. I said, okay, go on. He started, picked up his phone, called the person on the other, someone on the other line, and was speaking in Ibibio, our dialect. Sambok, sorry for me, to those who don't understand the language, maybe I'll interpret. Sambok, number dum. And he was calling out, I saw him with his ATM card, calling out the ATM number. And I was like, what? Number dum, pin dum. Said the thing. And then I asked him, because I didn't see him buy a recharge card or anything. So I was wondering, is it your ATM card number you're sending? Code, my life. This one, they don't tell me. Me, I did inside the keke. He gave out his bank PIN, the ATM number, and the CVV. Is this CVV behind? I just looked and I said, "Da, if I'm getting your account, you better go and remove that money now. Now, as you speak, empty that account and go back to the bank, change your details." So people still fall for this. People still fall for that. It will amaze you because ordinarily I would think that Nigerians have gone beyond where you now tell me to send my. People are still falling for that. So educate your kids as well. It might not necessarily be the ATM credit card and PIN number. It could be your house address. It could be where you're schooling. Sensitive information. How do you think they kidnap kids? When they get the kind of information they need, they could get it from children and then track the child to the school. So you need to educate them on this as well. They should be mindful of the messages. Don't click links that are mismatched from the description. Yeah. Okay, next slide. Because I want to quickly round up so we go into the practical aspect of Okay, so now let's look at videos. Another way that kids are easily caught unaware. Videos on YouTube. You know that description on YouTube? When you go down after watching the video, there's a description of the video and probably link. Be careful of such links. Be careful of such links. Now, why? Because YouTube does not verify those links. YouTube only censors the video you've sent. That's their focus, the video. At the time somebody sends a video and the child watches the video and tells the child to click the link below, the link will take the child to School Plus site. That's the truth. Ads as well. Yes, the owners of this platform are also trying their best to censor, to ensure that, integrity test. But sometimes it fails. Even the ads on YouTube. We've had situations where app pops up when you're watching a video and then you click on the app, it takes you to a malicious site. It takes you to a malicious site. And the moment you click something on the site, probably maybe download this, download that, it installs something on your system in the process. These are tricks. Downloads. It installs a malicious code on your system and your system becomes compromised. And by the time you're online, anytime when you shut down your system, you're okay. The moment when you're working and you're not online, you're okay. But the moment you go online, it prompts whoever the attacker is that XYZ is currently online, and the person just stays behind and be watching what you're doing and trying to see any valuable information he or she could get from you, and then use it against you or use it against your child. Most times, attacks like these are more of targeting the parents, but they use the children who are vulnerable, who might not be so aware. As a matter of fact, most parents in Nigeria too are not even aware, so it's not just about the children alone. So these are things you need to watch out for. Now, the video isn't actually a movie. It's an ad telling you to click on a description. Online scam and phishing schemes often contain bad grammars and misspellings. Describe the link. YouTube itself does not full-length streaming. Let's just these are another tricks they use in order to get to your access your sensitive information. Now, beware of YouTube comment section. I said it earlier. Beware, because most times on that comment section, though the owners of the video usually may put a link for you to maybe. For instance, they show you a clip and they say for you to watch the full version of the movie or the or whatever, click on this. You click on it, it takes you to another thing entirely. So be careful. Video ads can lead you to astray. Enable YouTube restricted mode and then download YouTube Kids app. Yeah, for your children, download YouTube for Kids. Better, download YouTube for Kids. It's structured and designed for children. So the content there, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have its own vulnerability as well. So you need to educate them as well. At the same time, exercise some control, where the next speaker is going to talk about. Next slide. Now, pop-up online video. This is the most common as far as our society is concerned. Online videos, video games rather. Video games, especially video games that are played online. I'm not talking about the one you installed on your kid's system. Yeah, that could be somehow incredibly safe, but not too safe, but somehow safe, but especially online games. Children love games. In fact, my 4-year-old daughter can access things on my phone. I don't even know that such things were there before. Seriously speaking, 4-year-old. And you don't blame them. They're digital natives. Like me, I never handled a phone until I was 20. So so games. And how do they do this? Pop-up ads and chat links. While they're playing the game, suddenly something pops up. You need to let them know that you need to be conscious. Don't click. Don't click. Why? At times, the pop-up comes in, okay, to go to the next level of the game. Are you hearing? To move to the next level of the game, click on this. And they click. It takes them to a different site entirely. Now, there's what we call social engineering. And most times, some of these tricks are to get those children. You know, children too can be very funny at times. If, how will I put it? When they bump into certain things online, and maybe not really, especially teens, they might know this is not right. Mommy or daddy will not permit this. But somehow they just decide to, curiosity. I think we're all gifted with that now. It's a gift that comes from God. Curiosity. That's how we learn anyway. They're curious. So they suddenly click on the link and find themselves in, for instance, maybe a porn site, or find themselves in a site where they are being socially engineered to take nude pictures of themselves. You won't know. You won't be there. You won't be there. And these pictures and videos in the dark internet, the dark net, is being sold. That's another internet entirely. This one we're using. The one we're using is the surface net. The surface net there is where hackers, where malicious, or how will I say, activity takes place, the dark web. And if you can access the dark web and see the number of things, as a matter of fact, you'll be shocked. You go to the dark web and you see your ATM pin and everything in the dark web that has been put up for sale. For sale. Whoever is willing to pay, they give, and the person go ahead. Because most of the guys, that's why I said it's not just a Nigerian thing. This one they say is Nigeria. The hackers are abroad. Majority of them are outside. Outside. They hack into system, get your PIN, not anybody here, get their PIN and start selling it in the dark web. It's for sale. You can get With $5, you can get 100 pins, 100 credentials of people. And then you now go and try your luck, which one will unlock and which one will not. So there's a whole lot of activity going on in the dark web. So you need to know this, because if you don't know this, you will take it lightly and you just overlook some of the basic things that you need to. Like I said, these are just basics and you need to be conscious of, so that you don't fall prey, either yourself or your child falls prey. And the best way you can educate your child is for you, first of all, to acquire the education. So you be aware of this so that you know what to tell them. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Okay, so fake login schemes and botnets. Next. Now, you should have a cybersecurity plan. Everybody should have this. Everybody should have this. Have a cybersecurity plan. Don't take it for granted. Don't say, oh, is it not just one smartphone that I bought for this child? Or is it not just this laptop? As long as they go on the internet, you should have a plan. And part of the plan is set up parental control for devices, whether it's a Windows or an Android or a Mac POS. I mean, sorry, not POS, Mac Mac system. Set up parental control on the device itself. The next speaker is going to talk more on that as I round up. Set up parental control for web browsers. Now, if you set up parental control on the laptop, some kids are very smart. Some kids are very smart, especially those in their teens. Parental control on the laptop, they know how, in fact, some of them even know it better than you. They know how they can bypass parental control and still access what they want to access. But thank God for cloud. The sort of parental controls I'm sure David is going to talk about will be the one that you can even have audit trails of what your child does on the internet. So, but aside parental control, also parental control on the browser, whether it's a Chrome, whether it's a Firefox, they all have facilities or features for you to set up that parental control so that you can pass certain sites from the browser level. You can enlist certain sites that your child should not be able to visit on the browser. Once you go to the browser settings and put logins on the site, yes, I know, extensive, but the ones you want. And then as well, you set up parental control for apps. Your kids can access all apps. Your kids can access set up parental control. So you can see that the cybersecurity plan is all about parental control. That's for your kids. It's all about parental control, whether it's at the device level, the browser level, or at the app level. Yes, kids use this app. They love this app. Go deep and check out. Have they measures to set up parental control? But only parental control is not enough. You need to educate them about the tricks that cyber attackers use or deploy in order to gain access to sensitive information, so that they know what to click, they know what not to download, they know the little things, pop-up video, pop-up ads that could mislead them to malicious sites. You need to educate them as well. You need the education yourself. So, but you need also, after acquiring the education, basic doesn't need to, I'm not saying become a cyber expert, but just have awareness, be aware of these little tricks that are deployed by cybersecurity attackers to gain access to your information, or to gain access to your kids or your kids' information, and they use it for malicious activities on the dark web or on the internet. Okay, so find a balance between complexity, create longer passwords, use upper, lower case, that's to strengthen your password, and then turn on authentication for apps that allows it. As a matter of fact, for me, if an app does not have two-factor authentication, I won't even allow it. It's called two-step verification, just like you would do your WhatsApp. If you've not set up that on your WhatsApp, you're open. I'm telling you the gospel truth. All right. And then login approval, provide extra layer. Just provide extra layer. You don't take anything for granted. Be security conscious. Just as you're security conscious about where you live, we now live in a virtual world and a physical world. So you take your security, your physical security, say you're very conscious about it and you're serious. You get a security guard. You tell them, hey, don't talk to this, don't talk to that, hey, don't do this, don't do that. also tell them, because we also live in a virtual world now. Since the pandemic came, now mankind or human race has moved like 5 times advanced in terms of technology adoption than we ever thought. 5 times advanced. We've gone into it. So everywhere now it's about going online. Things are done online. Churches are online, and it has become a norm. So now that it has become a norm, you also need to be cybersecurity conscious, just like you put up security layers physically to ensure that nobody gets access into your living room. The same way you should also place security consciousness so that nobody gets access to your virtual room. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. George. Very educative. I told you the content will speak for itself. Let me not bother talking about his profile. And these things are so real. Here in school, we, as part of our computer programming, if you've seen your computer programming subject, it's called Computer Programming and Digital Citizenship. So we try to teach these kids a lot of things about staying safe online, cyberbullying, passwords, how to create passwords. I think from grade 3, it's at grade 3 that they start doing the password exercise, because a lot of them ask them, set a password, and they just write password. And I wonder who taught them. Are you sure that there's nobody here whose password is called password? If you are like that, go and repent. And I don't know if we'll be able to do that. Maybe once or twice, we're going to set up a support desk in school in case you need help with some of your devices, to help you maybe set up some of this parental control. We'll probably put 1 or 2 persons on that desk on selected days. I hope we'll be able to pull that through, but it's something that I think we should do. So we're going to take questions. So keep your questions. We're going to invite the next speaker who is going to talk briefly on some practicals, and then we'll take the 2 sets of questions together. And our next speaker is also a parent in Brainy Hive. He has 3 kids here, and his name is Mr. David Ogunshola, who okay. So that was the Brainy Hive. Now this is the speaker. Have you gotten my slide? Zoom, have you gotten mine? Okay. This one, I'm just going to breeze through a couple of things. Young man is having, or is PowerPoint hanging? Your system needs support. Okay, so open the flash again and get the, yes. Our children spend a lot of time online or in front of screens, and it's not their fault. It's the times that they are in. Lockdown was worse. The lockdown revealed a lot of things about us as parents. Lockdown made many of us feel like very bad parents, because suddenly you are wondering, am I really sure I can do this thing? There was so much frustration. There was so much anger. You are angry at yourself. You're angry at the child. You're angry at everything. They are eating all the food in the house. You just don't know. So you are just angry. And so you know what? Just sit in front of that screen and give me peace. And that's how most of us. And coming out of that, many of those kids stay in front of the screen for 5-6 months. A lot of them, it's become a habit. They can't imagine idle time. If they are not running and they are not eating, they must be watching something. So it's 5 minutes of idle time, and they're asking you for your screen, they're asking you for your phone, they're asking you, and good. So how do you give them those gadgets? And there's a lot of good on those devices. There's a lot of amazing things. We got tablets for our kids at some point, and then I was amazed. Even the one who could not read, there were these apps. It's a book app that is reading out loud in audio, but it's reading like a storybook, and every word they are calling in audio, they're underlining the word in the book. So he's learning to learn those sight words. Fantastic app. And so you could download storybooks, Cinderella, and the boy cannot yet read, but he's following those readings. So there's a lot of good stuff out there that our kids can enjoy, but it comes with a lot of downsides, like he has explained. So what I'm going to do quickly is just next slide. Data shows averagely children spend between 3 to 7 hours in front of screens. And the question I try to ask myself is, if my children have spent 4 hours combined in the whole day, because even you'll be shocked if you ever go to the digital wellness side of your phone that gives you a breakdown of your screen time, it go shock you. My own phone even breaks it down by app and tells you you spent 9 hours on screen, you spent 2 hours on WhatsApp, 1.5 on YouTube. I'm like, what was I doing on WhatsApp for 2 hours? Now, but you see, that analysis giving me a feedback of my screen time is shocking to me because someone is keeping account of my screen time. Now, am I able to account for the time my kids spend on TV? They have that DSTV extra view in their bedroom and they have access to that remote. Do you know what they watch? Can you account for the 1 hour they? Because sometimes they get bored. Okay, no, I don't like CPPs. Let's make it a Gym Jam. And they go to Gym Jam. They're like, no, Gym Jam is not making sense. Let's go to they just keep switching. And sometimes you don't know. Once in a while, we came out. I think at some point we banned Nickelodeon. We shut down Nickelodeon. We told them I have so my kids because suddenly everything is magic, 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 magic. And excuse me, what is this? And these are the things that our children are spending their day on and they are feeding on. So let's go. What are our children watching when they are online? This is not my data. This is data online. When children spend time online, 59% of the time 59% of kids spend their time watching videos, some listening to music, some playing games, some doing homework. Yes, good one. Some interacting with family and friends, chatting and WhatsApping and everything, social networking, looking up information, uploading videos, photos, and music. Now, my phone has an auto backup setup. So every picture I take, everything I download automatically backs up in the cloud. I've lost devices before. I've told myself I'm never losing anything. Once I copy anything to my laptop, it just goes to the cloud straight without any external interference. One day I was looking for a picture I took about 3 days ago, and I was not on my phone. So I went to my laptop to my cloud photos. And I was scrolling. I'm like, and I kept scrolling. What was I seeing? My daughter's videos. She had grabbed my phone and has taken not maybe 60 videos and pictures, and all of them are in the cloud. And I'm wondering, why is my cloud space filling up? And Google is collecting my money for cloud. My daughter does, and she has a way, so she has this video thing she does, take the camera and then put eyeglasses on her head, put this thing, and makes herself up on the video. It is happening in your house too. Me, I don't know where those things are on my phone. The other day I said, how is she getting these things? So stickers and hair. So she does this and then put a sticker and write what she wants to write on it. And she's complimenting herself and uploading. So you don't know which of your valid information is also following the upload and is going online. So these are just a few things that they do online. But today we want to talk about how to secure 3 major places you focus on: your handheld devices, whether they are tablets or phones, Android devices. How do we secure that when we give them to children? Your computers, and then TV. We're focusing on these 3 today. Some of us have gone ahead to, oh, let me rest. How much is this smallest Android phone? 25K. Buy. This is your phone. And we give them their own phone. So they should leave our own phone. And we've handed them into another world entirely without any restriction. That needs to stop today. Laptops. Please don't go yet. Your laptops. Some of our kids have laptops. In fact, at Brainy Hive, we make it a requirement that they should have their laptop so that when they come for programming, by the way, this is our new computer lab. I mean, you can imagine your kids are going to be screaming when they come for coding the next time. So no more coding in class. We discovered that setting up in class takes so much time. So we'll just set up here. They come from their class, do coding. The next class comes here. And then it's going to be so much fun. But they come with those laptops. And many of those laptops are just open-ended. They can do anything. Once they come to school, they have Wi-Fi in school. They connect to the school Wi-Fi. And where are they going to? Even when the teacher we don't count on the teacher to be able to know everywhere every child goes to at the same time. We try our best, but the best way is to ensure that there are roadblocks that make it difficult or impossible. At least if they get there, let us even know that they got there. If we can't stop them, but let us know that, what were you looking for there, and then TV and the rest of them. So apologies for those on Zoom. Those on Zoom are having a great time. The screen share is very fantastic, but this our projector is giving us a little bit headache. Does your child have an Android device? If yes, there's one app that you must have if your child uses an Android device, and it's called Google Family Link. Some of you have it. Some of you may be hearing for the first time. Google Family Link. Please go to the next. What can you do with Google Family Link? This is a list of the things the app can do. Basically, you are cloning your child's app and having control of it. So that phone is actually residing in your own phone. You can manage the apps that your child can use. They can't go to the App Store to download anything without your approval. When they take their phone to the App Store, to Play Store to download, it tells them, we are contacting your parents. And you get a notification, your child is trying to download Zuzu, whatever the name of the game is. You can now look at the app yourself, either decline or accept. Nothing gets on that phone without passing through you. You can approve or block the apps they want to install, yes. You can see how much time they spend on each app with weekly or monthly activity report. So if I pick my phone and I open my device, sadly that's okay, but I did some screenshots anyway that will appear here. I go to each of them. When I open my family link, I can see each of the devices I've set up. I can see she spent 40 minutes on YouTube Kids and 3 minutes on Khan Academy Kids. So Khan Academy Kids is the learning app, 3 minutes. The video one, 2 hours. So what I can do then is I can set limits for each app. In a day, you can't use this app for more than 40 minutes. So once it's 40 minutes, that app shuts down, you can't open it again. Go to the next one. So I ensure that there's balance on their screen time. You can set daily screen time. I will set 3 hours a day then. And so once it's 3 hours, if you like, whatever you are doing combined, after 3 hours, that app shuts down the next morning. So you set what they do, set limits for individual apps, set device bedtime. Even if you've not used the device today, once it's 8:30 p.m., the app is locked. To open that app, you need a parent code that cannot be generated from your own end of the app. So you are the only one who can generate. So if you need to open the app, maybe sometimes you say, Daddy, but we're not ready to sleep. Okay, let me give you 30 more minutes. Take out your phone and say 30 minutes extra time, and the app opens again. The device, it locks the entire device. The device opens again. They have 30 more minutes. After 30 minutes, it shuts down again. You can remotely lock your child's device, like I said. See the devices where your child's account is signed in. So if that child has gone to another device, you say, okay, Daddy is blocking my own. Let me log in to another device. You will see that your child has entered a new device with their login details, and then you can find the device. The child is, I can't find my tablet. Where is it? Just tap your phone. The device is going to scream from under the bed, and you can easily find where. Otherwise, you go to find that tablet every week. So these are a few things it can do. Basic. How do you set it up? Next. First thing, download the Family Link device to your phone as a parent. Just go to the type Google Family Link and download. I'm not going to let you do it. Just take note if you need to take note. If you want this slide, sorry. Start with you, the parent first. It's going to be on both, but with you first, the parent. So first download it. Now, I wish this was clear. Once you've downloaded the app, if you go, you now need to create a child Google account for your children. This is very important. Some of our children have emails. They have Gmails, but they have standard regular email. That's called what is called a child email, meaning this email is not doesn't have the full access that you have. It's registered as a sub of another email. Now this is a screenshot. This is David Ogunshola. This is if I go to families.google.com. You can do that now. It's going to show you your family status. You can set up a family of 6 and connect all your accounts together. This is my own Google account. This is my son. This is my daughter. You can add a family member. Now, on the screen, what does it say under here? It's not showing. There's something under that. Supervised member. So this member is not an independent member. You can see that there's something showing. My own Gmail is normal. But these 2 Gmails, they don't have full control. I determine what those emails can do. So they are supervised members. So don't just go to gmail.com and say, I'm creating email for my child. No, go to families.google.com, put your email address, then create an email for your child that is linked to your email. Meaning you can control, you can block. That email is supervised by you. That's where it starts from. And you can create that from the Family Link app. If you have the Family Link app, just download it and log in. You will see all those, add email, add child, or create something. Then you can do that. You can add family member. Like I'm an adult now. My wife has a Gmail account. I can actually add her as another adult. So both of us are now supervising all these supervised addresses. So when they want to download something, both of us get notified. If I'm not available, she's available to either approve or reject. but Google only allows a family of 6. So those of us that have the tribe of Israel, you will now need to share. Okay, you supervise 5, I supervise. So you create too many families inside. But yes, families of google.com, download, set up child email accounts for them. Next, install the app on your children's devices. Now take that device. If you have an Android device, you know you can't use an Android device without a Gmail account. You have to use a Gmail to set it up. When you are using that child's Gmail to set it up, automatically they know that this entire device is under the control of the supervisor. So they even force you at that point to download the family link because you can't proceed without the app. So download the family link. Once you have a family set up, you can open the family link on your own device and follow the steps. And you'll be prompted to install the kids and teens version. It's a version for children. It's a version for teenagers. So the version for children won't even allow some apps to be installed on it that are aged. And why they separate the children and teens is because even Google, now Google is standard, Google search page, nobody goes on Google. But depending on the app that has been used to configure that device, it filters what kind of results they get when they search Google. So if I go and search for a word on Google and my child searches for a word on Google, we get different results because Google is censoring the results based on the age of that child. If that child takes my phone, the child will see everything in the world. You don't want that to happen. You at least let them go in stages. So be sure, and there's a requirement. If your Android device is less than 7.0, the family link app may not work. Although it works on Android 5 and 6 on some devices. So if your device has passed the test, but generally, I don't think anyone is getting Android below that now. Android, so I don't think that should be a problem. Next slide. Are we there? Okay, install your children's device. Yeah, you as the parent. Now you as the parent run the family link on either your Android devices. I use an iPhone, no problem. The family link iPhone. And still monitor your child's Android device from your iPhone. So it doesn't have to be that you also own an Android device. And you can also run it. You can monitor it from your laptop. When your child turns 13, he or she will graduate to another level of Google. So those apps are age restricted, except you want to lie. Because if you tell about your child's age, when my daughter turns 13 now, app will have some level of autonomy that I have minimal control. I'm still going to be able to control it, but at least it's going to go to another level. Next. Now, again, I think I've mentioned the things you can do, and there's even much more you can do actually. Download the app, explore it. We really want to just highlight it, run it through. Know that something like this exists. We are all digital people now. Just go online, find the app. The way you download every other app and find a way around it, you'll find a way around this one too. It's really not complex. It's very, very simple and it's easy. Let's go to the next. Okay, these are some screenshots. So I apologize for this, but this is the first. When I open my app, I see Araulua Eyo. So I can see both of them on the first screen. If I tap, then I can see different things. This is apology for this. You will have seen things you can do. So approval request history. So I can see all the requests they've done for approval. If you open your phone, you can see all of that. But basically, that app makes so much sense. If I'll be very honest, it gives you a lot of control. You're not using Google Android, Google Family Link. And interestingly, you can actually use Google Family Link even on Windows 10 and above. The other day, one of my students came, comes during holidays for his programming classes, and he wanted to learn something new. I said, okay, let's download this. He has been building games, but the guy has finished understanding one of those game development apps and he needs new challenge. I said, okay, you know what? Let's go for that. Let's go to Unity. Let's download Unity game development app. I want to download it, and it says you have to call mommy. Mommy is in the bank, so I have to call mommy. Hey, mommy, please. So I am the one trying to download this thing for the boy. Please allow us. Okay. Give me 1 minute. And after 1 minute, okay, try again. And we tried again. And it downloaded. Normal laptop. Mommy is in the bank. We couldn't download it on that laptop without mommy's approval. And it's a Windows laptop. I mean, that's the level of supervision that some of these children deserve. Because we really can't tie a rope around them and keep them. Go to the next slide. Let's talk briefly about Windows. The child uses a laptop Windows, particular Windows, Google Family Link can also work on that. Particularly if you use a Chromebook. In fact, with Chromebook, you can even have a history of what your child is doing, every website they're visiting, and you can get those summaries. But Windows itself has a parental control feature from Windows 7 upward. So even if you're not using the Google Family Link on Windows, they're giving them that laptop. What happens is this: Windows may not give you the control to monitor from one device to the other, but on the same laptop, you can have two accounts, an administrator account and a child account. Password the admin account, create a child account, and give your child the password to the child account, so that from the admin end, you can control what they do on their own section of the Windows, of the laptop. Don't give them full unfettered access. Let it be that at least bad. Another of my students used to come for coding. That's what they did. He doesn't need to call mommy to download anything, but he needs to enter mommy's password. And mommy says, don't give him the password. If he needs to download anything, call me. I will tell you the password. You enter it, it will download. But don't give him my password. So parents are taking different levels of measures to ensure that they keep their children safe. Even MacBooks have their own level of parental control. I think everybody's taking it serious now, but you need to know that those things exist on the devices you are holding, on the laptops you are using. Next. So if you want to do parental control on Windows, what it allows you to do is, number one, you can generate activity reports on app and games use, browser history, web searches, and screen time. If you set up Windows parental control, your child goes on any of the search, whether it's Google or Bing or Ask, it tells you what your child is searching for. So you can say, okay, this is my child is looking for online. Before your child goes too far, you will be able to catch them very early and say, what are you looking for there? Why are you searching? There's that video, that game that came out one time, that one that the thing was moving, Charlie or something. Yes, it was Charlie. And suddenly, kids were Googling Charlie everywhere. I said, come on. Where did you hear Charlie? These children have a way. And you know the funny part? You are controlling, you are managing the information your child listens to, what your child watches, and then they come to school and sit with their friends who come from a house where there's no control. And they talk. You can't control that talk that they talk. So they tell themselves things. And that one goes back home and takes your phone and wants to check what her friend told her. And that's why we think if we can all be on the same page, we can protect ourselves, we can protect each other, because the good you do, the things you are doing is limited to, these children don't live in an isolated world, really. So there is that interconnectivity. One person, your children use words, and sometimes they pick those words from other kids whose parents say all manner of things without checking who is watching. I think the last part of my presentation will be talking about movie ratings, because you are watching movie and children come and they sit and they are watching the movie. They are not concerned about the ratings of the movies that they watch. You need to be if you are a parent. Look, we have a responsibility. Beyond responsibility, is it CPL, Child Protection Law? You know that I think Akwa Ibom assigned in CPL, Child Protection Law. There are lawyers here, and the CPL says, if I see the way you are parenting your child, and you are destroying this child's future, me, a third party, I can sue you and tell the government this is a bad parent, collect this child from this parent. And it's a law signed in Nigeria. So if I understand that you are endangering your child and other children, I can actually take you to court. And the law backs me up. And there's also the Child Protection, Child Something Act. That one, the child himself can grow up and later come and discover that, why didn't my parents stop me from this? And later sue you for exposing them to some things when they were a child. And you can go to jail for not protecting your child when they were under your custody. These laws are signed in Nigeria. We need to know those things. But I'm not the lawyer here. But it's important that you know that it is possible. If another parent sees that your child is a danger to them, we may not do this, but we can't tell you what another person will not do. Because they brought their child to school, you brought the child to school, and then suddenly your child is corrupting their child. They say, no, before you corrupt the entire Uyo, let us stop you somewhere. And I'm not saying give me your child, though, but government, collect that child from that person and do something to ensure that the damage is stopped. So, you can restrict app and games use for devices. You can block inappropriate websites and apps. Okay, I don't want this site. So you can create a blacklist of sites that when the child wants to access that site, even networks do it. You go to some offices and you want to go on Facebook and they tell you, hey, in this place, work. We didn't pay you to Facebook. Work. So you can blacklist the sites that your children can visit, and you can track the locations of their devices, even on your Android device. So I had a Windows laptop and I had an Android phone. I can pick my calls from my phone on my laptop and vice versa. Same way, if that laptop gets stolen, you can actually track the location from your phone. If you had set up those things before the laptop got stolen, you can't do medicine after death. It's like backup. We keep talking about backup. When laptop has gone, there's no backup again. When it's time to backup, now that the laptop is still in your hand, backup. I've become evangelist of backup. I know what I've lost. Experience, my brother. Next, please. How do you create a child account on Windows 10? These slides can be made available, so you have all the steps. That's why we ask for your email when you're joining Zoom. If you're on Zoom, we have your email address. We'll make all the slides available. Simply go to the start menu, select the settings, click on accounts, go to the account setting menu, click on the manage your account. You see add other users, select the other user tab, create. Do you want an administrator or a child account? Select child account, and then take you next, and you can get that done. But go to the next slide. There's something else, even on Windows. After you've created a child account on Windows, you need to go to account.microsoft.com/family to also connect their accounts to yours. So all of them still needs to go to Google was family.google.com. Windows is my account.microsoft.com/family, where you can now connect those devices. That's where you really get to set up the different things you're trying to do. From the Microsoft Family website, you can view each of the accounts that you've added. All parental control settings online there are turned off by default. So that you created a child account on Windows, you've done nothing. And they know why they did it. By default, all settings are off. So that before you turn it on, you know what you are turning on. So you have to go there one by one. So, okay, what am I setting? Okay, I'm setting tracking, I'm setting reporting, I'm setting time limit. So you have to go to this site. If you've not gone to this site and added those things, you've done nothing. So you have to go there, set that up, and then select activity under any account, and you can view the activity of that person's account. So your child is just online doing everything, go to school, go there. End of the week, just go to your own dashboard, not even collecting the laptop, collect it, and you can see everything your child has done. If anything is just a red flag for you, tell that child, come, we need to talk. What were you doing here? Who asked you to go there? Who told you about this? And you are able to stop whatever needs to be stopped early. Let's run so that we can do more of a question and answer. If your child uses a Mac, you can set up content and privacy restrictions in screen time on Mac. If you go to the Mac, your Apple laptop, and there's something called screen time. But before you can set up the content and privacy, you need to turn on the screen time. By default, this feature called screen time is off. So you have to go and turn it on. I think, do I have a breakdown of how that gets done? Okay, yep. Take your Mac, that finder in the Mac where you find your app, just type screen time in settings, or ask Siri, open screen times, to open screen time. And then you're going to see this window. So you have web content, unrestricted access. That's what comes by default. Default is no restriction. So you can limit adult websites or allowed websites only. Choose the setting you want. You can say, okay, you choose the second setting. Based on Apple's opinion of what an adult website is, it will restrict access to some sites. But Apple's opinion of adult is not your own opinion of adult. So it is safer to go to the third one and say allowed websites only. Let me enter the sites my child can go to. Of course, it has its own limitations because you don't know every site that is available that is educative. So it's really it's like riding a bicycle. You are not, there's no one size fits all thing. You have to be involved in this thing. You can't just say, I have set parental control, now let me travel. You need to keep in the loop and know what's going on. Allow explicit language and Siri in Siri and dictionary. So you can set even Siri's response. Siri is the AI. My daughter has conversations with Siri. She picks her mommy's phone, tap, hey Siri, and Siri is talking like a normal human being. Like, oh my God. Even Google Assistant on Android. You pick an assistant and tells you, please call daddy. Says, daddy's MTN or daddy's Airtel. I say, okay, daddy's MTN. Okay, should I dial? Or you say, play me Adekunle Gold. And to ask you which of the Adekunle Gold songs and start listening them. I mean, this guy's AI has just gone berserk, and for good anyway. So you can control, get the window on your Mac, and you can control all the settings of what happens on your, you see a lot of different levels of controls, and whether they can add new friend, whether they can private message on the device, you can tick those buttons. You know, okay, no new friend request. You will send, I block it. Before the friend is no, let me know that friend, or you want to, whatever you want to do, go to the next. And now, very important, if they use your phone, whether they use your phone or not, if you are an adult and you have a child, please don't forget to turn on Google Safe Search. At least that is the minimum. It's not overdo like that, but at least minimum, Google Safe Search on all your own devices. If you have children who use your phones or laptops for research and homework, at least protect them from seeing some results. If Google Safe Search is on, even if you set for some explicit words, it tell you no results, because you've told Google, I don't want anything that is not safe for a child. How do you do it? On Android phone, simply go to more settings, general, and switch on safe search. You see on Android phones. On your iPad, why did this change my text here? I can't even read it again. On your laptop, go to the Google search, open google.com on your laptop. At the bottom, you will see settings. Click on settings. That's bottom right. Click on settings. You will see safe search. Tick it on, save, and automatically that your Google on your laptop will no longer display any overly explicit content. Safe search. For iPhone, go to settings. Okay, yeah, go to settings on your iPhone. Look for search settings, safe search filters, enable filter explicit result. That's not Google, but that's the Apple version of safe search. You see that I'm going to send you this so you can get that slide and get what you want to get from it. But it's really not, none of this about is complex. Just to know where they are and know what you're looking for. Next slide. Now, I'm going to end with this. Movies and TV shows have ratings. Those ratings are not for decoration. They are simply telling you, they are required by regulators to indicate the ratings of movies. So if you go on your DSTV, every show has a rating. You can't air a show without a rating. It's because they want people to know that you are aware of what you are watching. So when you see a movie that has G rating, G means general audience. Movies in these categories of ratings can be watched by kids of all ages, whether teenagers. So family movie, family watching, all of us want to watch. Let it be a G. Anybody can watch. That's for movies. PG means parental guidance is suggested. What they are saying is parents are advised to guide their kids if they must view such movies. Meaning, don't let the child watch it alone. Be there because they may see something that will trigger a question. Be there to answer their question so that they don't take it too far. So suddenly, they're watching a movie and the person says, he will die. The child says, why is he going to die? Be there to calm the person. It's a movie or whatever it is, but at least don't let the child do that alone. Now, if you won't be there to guide them, the movie is a no-no for your kids. PG, you're not there, please. No. PG-13, parental guidance, but even at the higher level, parents are strongly cautioned about this movie. This requires parents to be cautious as such movies are not appropriate for kids below the age of 13. For most platforms, they consider 13 adults at some level. But we know that even 13 self now picking up now or here. So what they say PG-13, it means any child in primary school should not be there. But you see, those are the interesting movies for us. G no sweet now. What do you want to watch for Gina cartoon? But we have to ensure that these movies, we limit them, we control them. A lot of movies in these categories are suitable for pre-teenagers, are restricted. This rating is for films specially designed to be viewed by adults and therefore may be unsuitable for children under 17. In a cinema that is working, the movie is R. You can't even take a child in to go and watch the movie. I don't know if our own work. Once you buy tickets, it works, right? Okay. I've not been to a cinema in a very long time. Thank God for Netflix. So yes, R means this movie is restricted. NC-17, absolute no-no, meaning anybody less than, so this is the equivalent of saying 18. Meaning anybody below, up 17 and below should not be here. This rating just simply signals that the content is appropriate only for adult audiences, 18 and above. Anybody under 18, when you see this, or 18 in the movie, from R, once you see R, red flag, No child should come around there. It's either violence, nudity, or something. I'm going to show you what all those ones mean too. Now, these are for movies. TV programs. Next slide. Okay, TV shows. TV shows also have their own ratings, but slightly different from movies. Movies are the acted ones. TV shows are more like reality shows, even cartoons and all of that. Y means all children. When you see Y on the TV show, or the TVY, most of them have a TV prefix before the rating. TVY means every child can watch this. It's intended for children 2 to 6, and it's not designed or expected to frighten. Nothing should frighten anybody there. Y means your child can watch it. Preschooler, anybody, they can watch it. YFV, fantasy violence, is still children, but it's not supposed to be for children less than 7, actually. It's intended for older children. It contains some fantasy violence and more combative than the TVY. So, in fact, I think there's even a TVY. Okay, there's TVY7. Sorry, I going this way. Y7 is for older kids, but from 7 and above. Some content could frighten younger children under the age of 7. So before your child has to watch cartoon and says, I can't sleep in my room again. You don't know what they watch. They kept seeing something that has frightened them, and they want to sleep, and they are seeing that mermaid cartoon, and they are scared. It is because you didn't check what they were watching. You can start sleeping, and before they wake up, they are all moved to your room. You are laughing. Does it happen in your house? Fantasy violence bit higher than 7, meaning there's some level, maybe provisional, maybe unreal, but there's some violence. When attacking them and killing them, there's small red telling you, and not saying don't watch you, at least know what you're watching, so that if you don't have a problem with you watching those things, problem watching you. If you really want to control what they watch, this should give you a guide. General audience. It's also intended for all ages. It contains little or no violence, no strong language, nothing, just like the G of movies. PG, like the PG of movies. 14, just like the PG-13, from 14 upward. MA, mature audiences only. It's the equivalent of 18 or NC-17. No, so whether it's Nigerian Idol, whether it's Food Network, they should rate all TV programs. Your DSTV, start taking notes of the rating. It's on the extreme right of that information tab. You see by the right. When you go home next time, look for the rating and know what you are seeing. Last on my screen, when you're watching movies on Netflix, Roku, all those your on-demand TV, there is always a labeling on every movie. On Netflix, when you watch it on the top left on your Netflix, you see BNL, meaning there's violence, there's nudity, and there's strong language. You know strong language? F words, all those phrases, the words that you don't want your kids to hear, they are going to use them plenty. So once you see L, some of them may not have SNL, they just have one. So whatever the case, they should have a rating or a label. If it is blank, then none of this exists. So some may just be, so when you see SVL, what does it mean? Sex, NL, nudity, language. So it tells you what to expect in that movie. At least know what you are going into. So that if you want to watch the movie, know whether it's time to say, okay, go and do your homework. Homework time, everybody. Pack them for homework so that you can watch your movie. And if you're watching a movie and they show up, know when to pause. You don't have to. Yeah, you're enjoying this thing does not mean that you cannot stop. And they've come. I don't even realize they've come. You're endangering this children. I know that sometimes you're so tired, you're like, oh, it's the only one will not change anything. Just watch this one. Sometimes they themselves want to watch it. They're like, hey, just whatever. That whatever. And so they pass small. Please, we have to be in control. I think that's the end of my slide. The last one is just, I think I've already mentioned this. Why are this important? We are responsible for what our children see. I mentioned the CPL, I mentioned the Child Rights Act. If you want to Google more about this, maybe one of these days, talk to a lawyer, ask them, what does this really mean? Are they really active? Some states have not adopted it. For example, Child Rights Act and CPL, the states that want to be able to marry off their daughters at 13 and 14, they don't adopt this. But these are our states has adopted both. As much as I'm aware. So you are at danger of being arraigned in court simply for negligence on how you are raising your child, if anybody deems it fit. Thank you for your time. I think that's the end of this slide. Who's taking the questions? Okay, Mr. George, I think you would just do it. Okay, Tejiro is doing the question. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, parents. Okay, questions, please.
And please, if you're online and you have questions, type your questions in the chat box and someone is going to read it out for us. Tejiro.
Morning. Good morning, parents. My name is Sheung Fumi Obasa. I'm talking about restriction. This is something we've been talking about in my house, for example. And the issue has always been how, where do you draw the line between teaching your children to be responsible? Either you are there or not, the trust factor. That okay, even when I'm not setting parental control, I know that you're not going to watch this. Like in my house, when it comes to DSTV, my children know that it's a no-no for you to do anything cartoon. Uh, what's this? Cartoon Network. Even before they stop the station, my children will say, "No, mom, mom." Even because I had a a family friend's help come to our house and wanted to watch Nickelodeon. And my children is like, "No, my mommy said we cannot watch it." My mommy said, and immediately I was coming in, she just said, "Mommy, Auntie so said we should watch Nickelodeon," and we told her no, and she insisted, and she switched it. But BB decided to switch off the TV, the decoder from your room. So we've not watched TV today. I don't know. I need help. That's why I'm asking. Where do we draw the line between telling your children this as an instruction and setting parental control? Thank you.
Okay, I think maybe I should just establish for the questions now at this point. We are not experts. Anybody can answer questions. So if you have something that has worked for you, don't forget our first introduction was we also are parents. We have these children and we are having the same trouble everybody's having. But now talking about those restrictions, the reason why your children could know that you don't allow them watch this is because you've established a ground rule. They have known that there's some level of restriction. In homes where there has never been restriction, watch whatever you want to watch. They don't even know that there's anything called good or bad. So first of all, there is that you've done commendably well that you've been able to establish ground rules. Your children know what to watch, what not to watch. An easier way to do that, our decoders, DSTV and Co, have that parental control settings. You can actually go there and set this particular decoder cannot display anything above Y7 without putting in the password. So when they switch to any channel that is above Y7, even if it's the same channel, once the next show is above Y7, closes. You have to put in the parental control password, which is supposed to be owned by only you or your spouse. So that's that way, nobody can even, the argument is shut down. That they no, let us watch it. The mommy say we should not watch it. Stop the option from even having, let there be no option at all. But at the same time, I understand your challenge. You're trying to teach these kids responsibility. What happens when I'm not there? Where they find themselves in a home where the TV is free for all, do they want to now go and buy back all the starvation that they've starved from home? Now we will watch and watch and watch. That's also a fear. And that's why we teach digital citizenship as a subject in school. So that even when you are not there, they've been educated to know what they should do, what they should not do, how to stand up against bullies, how not to be bullied, all of those things. So it's a game that does not end. We are doing our best. Also teach them that level of responsibility. Fine, set the controls, but let them know that they are responsible for, if they have not taught them up to 13, by 13, they become free adults. By 17, 18, they're on their own. And that's when responsibility comes in. So I don't know if that helps. But anybody can actually answer a question as long as we keep it within maybe 1-2 minutes. You need the microphone so that those on Zoom can hear you. The Zoom is picking audio from. I have questions online already. Okay.
I have a son who is really curious. So whatever you tell him, there's always a question. Why? There's always that why. He wants to know. And most of us were very quick to shut them up. I beg, just go. I've told you. I always find time to explain to my son why that thing should not be done. So when I'm not there, that reason is always ringing in his head why he should not do it. So let's not just shut them up. As much as you put the protection, tell them, let them know why you are shielding them from that situation, so that whenever that situation occurs, they know that there's a reason why mommy said I shouldn't do this, and they don't do it, whether you're there or not.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. We're about to read a question for online, so it's going to provide an answer to it. How do you, as a parent, deal with children watching things on other people's devices outside the home?
Well, I would say that the kind of questions we were having, there's no straight jacket response or answer to this. It's more like what she has said, what he has said, that you need to, first of all, teach your children or teach your child responsibility, how to be responsible. You can't leave gadgets or parental control entirely to parental control to train or to teach your child. You need to, first of all, train them in the way, like the scripture says, train them in the way they should go, so first of all, instill the discipline in them. Let them know that this is wrong and why it's wrong. And then set up parental control as an extra check. Extra check. It's more like a second layer. The first layer is you doing the teaching, training your child, teaching them and telling them what's wrong and what's right, and instilling that sense of responsibility in the child, so that parental control only serves as the second layer, just in case I'm not around. Now, in the case where your child is in an environment where you don't have control, I believe now the child now relies on the first layer, which has to do with your own instilling the discipline in your child. So first of all, instill the discipline in your child, explain, take time to explain. Just like she said, children are very inquisitive. Children are very curious, and they learn out of curiosity. So you must take time to tell them why they should not and why they should, so that in an environment where there is no parental control, no restriction, the other one kicks in that mommy says or daddy says I shouldn't do this. Like I said, no straight jacket response or answer to it. So it's your responsibility. Thank you.
In addition to what my brother just said, I think most of the challenges we have with training or all these restrictions has to do with parent collaboration. The father and the mother must collaborate to achieve this thing. It shouldn't be that when you have given an instruction, your husband will say, I beg, leave. Or the husband will say, okay, let's stop this. And the woman will say, I beg, now leave them. I beg, leave them. No. I have a typical experience with my wife. I bought a little iPad for my children. There are 3. I wanted to buy 3. She said, no, buy 1. Let them learn how to share. I said, okay. But when I bought the iPad, it comes with some pre-installed apps. The first thing my wife did was she retrieved it from them. I said, why? She said, no. I want to go through everything in the phone first before they start using it. And at the end, I saw the results. In my house, sorry, we are not watching DSTV. We are not watching GoTV presently. Yes, in my house, because of that. Because we understand that children are passengers in marriage. They are passengers in marriage. At the end, when we drive them to their bus stop, they will say, Daddy, Oya, drop me here. This is my bus stop. But what you did with them is what will sustain them. So we stopped. We said, okay, because we cannot really control all these things. For crying out loud, even if you set all these restrictions, as an adult, you will also want to do it. So what works for me may not work for you. But I decided to say, okay, my wife, let's be doing this on our phone. If you want to watch anything through your phone, I ensure that she doesn't lack data. You know, so that is the little we do. But I strongly believe that if parents collaborate, we can achieve this successfully. Thank you.
One behind. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. My name is Amoy Feigui. Um, my question is centered on uh, parents with multiple kids, sort of different age group. So, how do you reconcile maybe placing a restriction on maybe a child that is maybe 10? Uh, you have a show or a movie or a TV program that's suitable for a 10-year-old. Then you have a second child, maybe 5, and that same show is not suitable for a 5-year-old. So how do you marry that such that hello? Okay, okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. My question is how do you reconcile or marry a situation whereby parents who have multiple kids of different age group and you have a TV program going on whereby based on the rating, it's suitable for one kid and not suitable for the other one. How do you go about it? And you as a father or the mother, you are busy with your own work. So how do you go about it such that you are at peace and the children are at peace?
Okay. What I would do in my own case, somebody wants to answer the question. Okay, fine. Fantastic. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, I'll give what I do because I have your scenario play out in my own house where the older children are like, it's so boring what they want to watch. It boils down to like Ms. Romero and Auntie Sharon has said, building some sense of responsibility. For me, what I do, I say, you know what? The moment you are with your younger ones, you now represent me. What do I mean by that? If I were to watch a program with my child there, they are priority, they come first. So no matter what I want to watch, no matter how interesting, no matter how whatever, if it isn't suitable for them, scratch it. I don't watch it. So if you, the elder, is with your younger one and you want to watch something, but you know it isn't suitable for your younger one comes first. And I give the younger one the authority to say she wasn't responsible enough for me. So they check themselves. So mommy said, if I did not allow me to, if I said I should watch, no. So they check themselves. So if you're watching with your younger one, they are priority. You allow them watch what is appropriate. You all watch what is appropriate for them. If they are dozing off or sleeping, you watch what I said you should watch, not your own decision. So somehow, so that you're not always being, they're fighting, they're always coming to their, and then if you don't do it, you get the repercussion because for every decision, there's a consequence. So that for me, that is established that choices, consequences. No, start from chances. So you see chances, you make the choices, you get the consequence. The consequence, if you do good or you do for yourself, if you do bad, now you suffer.
Yeah, I think that I was going to say lowest common factor. The lowest person determines the, if we won't watch a show because kids are there, that means we're being rated by the lowest person there. Same thing should apply to the kids. The older person should be responsible to that, okay, the lowest person determines what is safe and what is unsafe. A question online by Amarachi Adautin. I noticed that even the programs showed on Cartoon Networks now contain some terrible content, e.g. homosexuality, violence, and magic. How can we protect our kids against these? Anyway, you heard her say she has banned Cartoon Network in her house. My own is Nickelodeon I banned first. when we had DSTV in school, early years of Brainy Hive, we had some channels that were no-nos. After a while, we boggled and they stole it, and we say, thank God, they're going, we don't want it again. But yes, even those Cartoon Network shows have ratings. Check the ratings. The program that has violence may not be, what's the lowest one? Y7 or Y? May not be Y. Take note of the ratings. Sorry? Yes, even those shows. Cartoon Network is not designed, that is called cartoon does not mean it's for children alone. There are adults who are cartoon freaks. So the Cartoon Network is also serving them their content on Cartoon Network. So the rating is probably the safest thing to use, even though I still think you shouldn't outsource safety to the rating. If you are not comfortable with the channel, block it and your money. So yes, I agree with that.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, my name is Ines, and I'm the mother of Noble. My son is he's crazy about Disney dreaming, and in that Disney dreaming, Spider-Man. So when he watches Spider-Man, you see him on some Spider-Man stuff in the house, and sometimes I feel it's dangerous. Sometimes I just feel it's dangerous. No, so this, but it's I don't know. You see him, you stretch his hand, he wants to do. You see him fly from one chair to the other chair. I don't know. And this PJ Masks of a cartoon, and those are his favorite cartoons. So I had to push her that okay, let's go to PBS and let's go to Jim Jam, just to cut it down. But it's not working. This guy keeps crying, he's shouting, "I want PJ Masks. I want PJ Masks." As in, he can wake you up in the middle of the night. It is PJ Masks I want to watch. Then the next question, I don't know how to handle that. Then the next question I want to ask is, even when you put it on the children channel, for how long is a child of 3 to 4 supposed to be on the TV? Because yes, it's one thing to give them what they want, they need to watch, and it's another thing for how long is he supposed to be on that station watching that program?
Okay, someone is okay. Okay, maybe you should give him the mic. I can give it a shot.
Okay, sorry, I'm standing up again. Parenting is a ministry. Let me use that word. Parenting is a ministry. And as our teacher was talking, there is a key word he consistently used, and that word is called restriction. A child cannot be greater than the parent, no matter what. So even if the child is insisting, this is what I want. Sorry, I don't like making personal because I'm not even the best. I even struggled to see how to give them the best. Even on the clothing my children put on, I ensure whatever that is written on it is something edifiable. So when it comes to even the cartoon, the question is this: can they do without cartoon? That is the answer. They can do without cartoon. And more often, we parents, I'm sorry, we are lazy. We are lazy. We don't even need our children around us. I play ball. I have 3 girls. I have bought football in my compound. I'll bring out football like today. Just that I am here now. In the morning, we do exercise together. I do it with them. Come to my house in the evening, you'll see me playing ball with them. So sometimes you even engage them on discussion. My first child is 6, but she will come to me in the room and say, "Daddy, I want to discuss with you." So that word restriction, we should carry it as a label. If your child is doing something that you don't like, apply the word restriction. That is what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Ini. I have a question, 2 questions directed to Coach George, but let me contribute to the existing discourse on different things work for different people. I wouldn't subscribe to children being totally kept away from cartoon. I think Teacher Lizzie can say the benefits of cartoon to children. What works for me is, I mean, when you mention PJ Masks, is you know, what I'd like to encourage is beyond just watching the cartoon, you should debrief with your child after they watch the cartoon. So what lesson did you learn? This person was not playing with their friend and all that. We do that very regularly. And then even when they watch things like Sophia the First used to be seen in the earlier stage until we started seeing mermaid. We had to sit down and discuss the mermaid issue. Have you ever seen half fish, half body before? So we discussed it. So they now knew that once they see mermaid, oh, sorry, let's leave this episode when we have a sane episode. And then we have time allotted for TV. Okay, so you're going to watch TV. You have 30 minutes today or so. You choose the one you want to watch. So you choose your slot and know why you want to apply it. As for the Spider-Man, allow the boy to jump. No, seriously. Uko talked about we're born with being inquisitive. If you stop that risk factor from the child, you might be doing something. So at best, take away everything. Or say, okay, if you want to jump only on the mattress. In fact, join the jump. No, seriously, join it and create fun. And then show the risk factor. Now, children ask a lot of questions. I mean, my small Zara, 3 years, then will come and ask me about something. And I'm like, I never asked my dad when I was 3, this kind of thing. But I suddenly realized that when I say, why is this? And it's okay because this is okay. And walks away. I said, was that all? And she just wanted to know. So now I look forward to the asking why so that I can explain and give some background things that will guide them in decision making. Now, to Uko George, my question is, let me ask it in a funny way. It's about when you talk about phishing attack and the FBI Interpol. How does Uko George find out if his name or his identity is being used in Interpol before he travels and arrives Australia? And then, if indeed his name is there, how does he clear it from the FBI list? That's my question.
Please give him a microphone. No?
That's a tough one. I think that question should be directed to the people in the police and Interpol, because from time to time, Interpol do have list websites where you could find out people wanted list, but that doesn't mean that the list is exhaustive or is extensive enough, because most times they would not even place your name on one. Wants to find out if anyone can give them leads on how to get this person. But for lower crimes, like I would say lower ones, they won't really put it out. You can't really tell until maybe you find out and they do a background check and they find out that there's a red flag, this guy has questions to answer, and then you get invited. And if you could clear your case that at so time, at so point, you're wanted for this thing was done with your digital identity. And I believe the investigators, they themselves they have this way of telling if you're telling the truth. They can tell, it's their job. Psychologically questioning you. They have this, what do they call this? Yeah, lie detector to tell if you're telling the truth or not. So they have various ways to, clear you if you're saying the truth or not. But that doesn't stop them from, first of all, apprehending you and try to do a background check and more to find out if you are not actually, if you're actually free or if you're innocent. So answering the question, there is no way you could really tell. So, but the thing is that the only thing is you need to be conscious. You need to also be watchful, be careful, and make sure that you apply caution when you're online, and also educate your children as well, because you might not be the one to expose yourself, but your child could click on a link and exposes that device. And whoever was at the other end now use that identity to perpetrate fraud. Thank you.
Okay, there's a quick question online I want to just throw out. Someone is asking, at what age is it appropriate for a child to have a phone? Even though I think we need to separate between phone and device, because there are devices that are not phones and they can make calls. So what works for you parents generally? At what age should a child have a phone? We ask them to have a laptop from grade 1 here, so we can answer that one. From grade 1, your child should have a tablet or a laptop for learning in school. It's going to help them learn the things we're teaching. But phone, please. If I need the answer.
Okay, good afternoon. At what age should a child have a phone? I think that's a generic question that each peculiar situation will answer to. A father might be an offshore worker. He needs to communicate with his child, whether and it's not dependent on the mother being around. At that case, I can't fault the parents for giving a phone. The question is, which kind of phone? If the phone is mainly for communication, so that is your focus, communication. That's it for me. For the as in what purpose is the phone supposed to serve? I think that should be the reason why one would decide if I'm giving a child a phone at so age or not. What purpose is it supposed to serve?
She said she asked about smartphone. She just
for
replied
smartphone. I'm sorry. I'll give you. I sell smartphones.
Okay.
You know I sell smartphones, but guess what? My children don't have smartphones. In fact, they won't even dream of asking me smartphone because I don't see the need for a smartphone.
But they have laptops.
They have laptops.
Okay.
They have laptops because they need laptops to learn in school. I don't see the need for smartphone. My children don't play with my phone. They know, don't near my phone. Don't near. And the reason, and I warn them, don't look into any adult's phone. In fact, don't look into anybody's phone. So my son has come to me to tell me, Mommy, I'm sorry. There's just something I need to tell you. I'm sorry. I said, calm down. What is it? So teacher trying to show me something, to explain something to me. He actually tried to do it through his phone. And I said, okay, is that it? I said, okay, no problem. I'll talk to the teacher. And I had to explain to the teacher in question why it is a no habit to teach the children anything using your phone. But I was just teaching. You have pop-ups on your phone. And only you, when know your phone, know what you they watch inside your phone. There are some that we all look nice and everything. We know what we do with our phones. So at no point, I think even for every adult, your responsibility, for goodness sake, don't give your child your phone at any point. Play the game. The children, I don't know how, but I think it's innate. They know how to decipher and unlock. And before you know, the one thing you never wanted them to see on your phone, they are viewing it and you're wondering, where did you learn that thing? It's from you. So for me, I think the intent of the device or the gadget should determine the age. And then a brother here said, restriction. If it is a must, then you have to now put in all the restrictions to make sure you still protect your child. That's what I think. But then I must add that in our bid to raise our children right, we do not strip them of the opportunity to make decisions for themselves. to not do good, to not do bad because mommy said I shouldn't do bad. They should do it because they know the difference between good and. I will quickly add this. Sorry for your time. Something I learned just this week with preparing my grade 1 daughter for the Bible B. She was to talk about the story of Samuel. So Samuel chapter 3, verse 1 to 18. So we're learning and reciting the scripture and everything. And I saw something that was a wow to me that I think I should share with the parents. In Samuel chapter 3, verse 1, it said there that now the boy Samuel was ministering unto the Lord through prophet Eli. He was serving God by helping prophet Eli. Now the word of the Lord was not yet known, was not so rampant then, and visions were rare. Now, if you fast forward to verse 7 of that same chapter, you will see there it says that, and the boy Samuel did not know the Lord. And it hit me. It is food for thought for us parents, but it is something we should teach our children too. That you are doing acts does not necessarily make you become. That you're doing something does not make you that thing. So you can do all the drama for us parents. You will advise yourself. You can do all the I'm doing this in church, I'm doing it, and you don't know the God you are serving. But for me, what I told my children was, guess what? I think you go to church just because mommy and daddy go to church. We should have those conversations with our children. And I made them understand that, you know what, you shouldn't just go to, I understand, you know, you can't even make any decision right now. I will force you to church. But there comes a time in your life, and the time is now, where you would have to find a way to love God for yourself. And if you decide not to do something, it's not because mommy said, God is bigger than me. So your focus is, do you love God enough not to make that decision? Not because your parent, because many of our good children are doing that just to put a smile on our faces. Take away us from the picture, you will see action. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. Let's know how many questions conclusively, so that we know. One contribution. Okay, one contribution, two contributions, and then that will be the last. So 1, 2. Okay, contribution 2. So 1, 2, and 3. Can we have the mic in this order?
My name is Kemi. I just want to add to what the last speaker said. Honestly, as a parent, we have a whole lot to do in our hands. But why we are trying to restrict these children or trying to groom them into being the better person they should be in the society, to the nation at large, and to us as parents, we should as well try to make them not to see us as monsters. There is a level of restriction you give to this child, and the child thinks you hate them. You don't have their good in heart. Now, when you are restricting, just like my auntie said, let's place the good from the bad. Let's assume you have a neighbor that is open for all, like Mr. David said. And you, as a parent from this other end, you're trying, doing your best to ensure you guard your child from being the better person. And here, you cannot restrict this child from either associating with the children of this other neighbor. And mind you, at times, you may just let go. Now, it is what you instill in them that when they go out there, they fall back at. If in our place of restriction, they lose the confidence in us, then we have lost it all. Having known that when they lost this confidence in us as a parent, they cannot confide anything to us. They now have their best friends to be that woman out there, to be that friend out there, to be that teacher out there that give them not just the listening ears, but that make them want to know what they want to know, that tell them what they want to hear. So in our place of restriction,
let's know where to also draw the line. If I'm telling my child that don't touch this pen, let me be able to explain why this pen should not be touched and the consequences of touching the pen, so that they don't cite you as a bad site, or they don't give a misinterpretation, misconception of the message you are trying to pass. May God help us in Jesus' name.
Thank you very much. Number 2, and then number 3. And very sorry. I know that things will always bring up things. If we didn't take those numbers, we will suddenly have ideas on what they are doing. So we shut it down at 3. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Very high. In fact, I'm happy. Okay, so having said that, I want to say that this is our time. One of very difficult times of changing kids by any standard. In fact, each morning I wake up, I just look at this four of them now. I got people who have 3 or 6, so it's like I think about them. Apart from this cybersecurity we're talking about, the physical security now is a challenge for all of us, and it's a very difficult time. Now, the question of when to give a child the phone. I think the first facilitator talked about having gotten a phone at 20, but now we are looking at when. So I think that tomorrow, in the next like 20 years, we'll still review it probably downwards. And then we are now thinking of the devices that we're going to be handling. They may not just be phones. AI is on the, I don't know. So you may not really need phones, probably, People will just have implants somewhere, communicate. So
smartwatches,
really. So I think that's a relative question. The answer to that is quite relative. But I think the basic thing, just like we have all known now, is time for children. I'm a victim. Let me not say I'm a victim. I'm a culprit. Like, just like I said, very difficult time to train up children. You need to do how many jobs now to probably try to make ends meet. You don't really have the time. In fact, I tell myself that after one exam I just wrote recently, that I will have to sit down with these children. I will have to do it. By any means, I won't trust that my wife has got it all covered. I should myself do it. So I think it's time. We can't overemphasize that. So time. Now, the question of having to go out and probably you're arrested for some footprints that you're not.
I was going to ask you to answer that question. Actually.
Yeah, but I think that before you even travel out, well, traditionally you have to have your clearance, you have to have thumbprints and all that. But I hope they now have to make you do some clearance based on, your footprints on the internet. I don't know how that's going to happen.
Okay.
But I think it's not happening now anyway. It's not part of the things that are cleared anyway. But I believe maybe it's something we can take back to our people and say, we may need to do checks like that, because Interpol is not connected. Everybody knows everybody there. So before you travel. So thank you very much. Just like I said, please keep this conversation open. I don't know whether it's ending here, and let's find a way to just keep it open.
All right. Thank you, sir. Last, Mrs. Obasa. Over there.
Thank you once again. Still on this issue of phone, this conversation is ongoing in my house as we talk. We have a foster daughter. She's 21. She's been asking for a phone since some months to her birthday. She started asking for a phone. And as usual, I'm the intermediary between them and their father most times. So she came to me, she said, "Mom, I need a phone." I said, "Okay, what for?" She said, I heard I need it for my NIM. I said, "Okay." Then I said, "What again?" I said, "You've not done your NIM. I said, "So let's leave it till when it's time to do the NIM." She said, "I need it for my JAMB," because she's presently writing WAEC. So when she said that, I was taken aback, because I have heard stories of JAMB, NIM, phone numbers, and all whatnot. The first day she came, I told her no. Simply because I know I've been trying to convince my husband, and my husband said no. So I told her, I said no. So when she came again with that NIM and JAMB stuff, I had to give it a rethink.
Till now, I've not been bold enough to present it to my husband because I must be confident enough with all the answers before I present it. Otherwise, once that matter is thrown out, you will need 1 year to represent. So, no, I know why I'm explaining this. I know I'm explaining this because of that parent. I don't know who the parent is. I have a friend, and I'm suspecting it's my friend that is actually asking that question because we've been on that question. She has a son about my son's age who she's trying to get a smartphone. And I told her, I said, well, as much as you have the rights, reasons were cool, they were okay. But how, just like these restrictions we are talking about, how do you know when the child knows when not to click on that link and when to go ahead and click on that link? My answer is this. Looking at my foster daughter's mental health and then capabilities, I came to a conclusion. I'm not denying her that phone because she's not grown enough, but I think she's not cyber smart enough. That's why I said that no. And I'm very sure, 1,000 times sure, that that's the same reason my husband would throw out that matter immediately I present it. Like I was sharing with her, I said, if my son by that age is asking for a phone, I will give him. Because there are certain things my son, like I've been telling Uncle David, my son wants, recently, we spoke with Teacher Lizzie and we came up with engaging him to read. He has read this Franklin Age's book. I don't know whether I mentioned it to you after we spoke. This book that we read at the book club, Franklin Age, ABC Transport. But I realized that each time you give my son an audio book, 1 week is done. Give him a hard copy book, 1 month we are still on it. Okay. Give him a audio book, something comes like, yeah. Give him an hard copy book, something will come 1 month with a lot of, okay, when you do this, I'm going to give you 10 naira, then you see him sit down. So, and I've been trying to analyze that. It's like, it's comfortable with screen time. But with all of these things are things I've been thinking in relation to my older daughter, that how will she manage these things? I know, just like he said, is a journey, is a ministry. I pray God will help us. We just have to look at the child in question. Can the child handle it? Don't just do it because even if the reason is communication in my house, because we know how important communication, we got them a table phone. So if daddy wants to call or mommy wants to call, anybody wants to, and that number is restricted, it's not something an outsider is expected to call. Okay. So it's just for us. Maybe the only person we've extended the number to is the grandparents so that they can talk to them when we are not at home. Okay.
I think that works. If you want to do a phone for communication, Dex phone is not a bad idea. Well, like someone said, the conversation, these things are not exhaustive, but I think this meeting will be successful if you leave here with one action point, something to go and start doing, some new knowledge you are going to start taking note of. You probably just want to start ensuring that you look out for the labels of your movies, ratings, or whatever. At least you now know also that you don't just click on every email that comes. Those things are businesses. Sorry? You say something on that quickly. Okay, let me have
quickly. I just recalled that I should mention this. I said when I started my presentation that I'm into data analytics. And one thing I find out that a lot of us do is, especially on social media, there are these how would I say, like call them apps or platform that requires you to put in, okay, come and see how you look like when you are 51, all those things. It's called data mining. A lot of us engage in it. I don't do it because I work with data and I know what they can use data for. It's called data mining. They're mining your data. Yes, we mine data as analysts, but we use it for hyper targeting and remarketing. But you never can tell what the other person at the end. So by the time, like I said, your Facebook is more like your digital identity. The moment you accept, that means you have consented. You've given consent to access for them to access your data simply because you want to have fun to see how you look like when you are old. or you want to know who you should marry or if you were not married, and things just trivias like that. And you're giving out sensitive information. On your Facebook, you have your email account, you have your phone numbers, you have your picture, you have links to your friends and families, and you're exposing such sensitive data online simply for something very trivial. Please, please stop it. Stop it. It's called data. They are mining, getting information from the moment you click. You have given them consent. Now Facebook is completely innocent there. Now you give them consent. So whatever they take there and whatever they do with it is your own. Is on your own. So please, I just thought I should mention because it just came to my mind.
Very, very good addition, sir. And if you want to be, if you have time one day, any of those apps, click on the privacy policy and read it. Fear will catch you. Because they've clearly stated what they will do with your data, but you never read it. Try reading it one day, you won't sleep. You will want to start revoking all the access that you've given. So yes, thank you for that addition. This, like we said, is not exhaustive, but we've at least set a ball in motion, and hopefully we've gotten into a new area of consciousness. As a way of shutting down the curtain and rounding off, we have another parent workshop on the 5th of June, Saturday, and that's going to include both parents and teachers. If this hall that we thought is big is full now, I'm wondering what we'll do that day. Might still do half anyway. But yeah, the workshop for 5th of June is emotional intelligence, stress management, and intentional parenting. How many of you have the child, you just painted this wall and you just came and they have drawn a smiley face on it. And before you started thinking, you have already, wow. And then you're like, you just do a gojo and go. But you yourself know that there was something amiss for those few seconds. And see, these children, they will not stop getting on our nerves. We can't control it. What we can control is us. And that's why that seminar is going, that workshop is, how do you gain mastery over yourself, be able to control yourself, your reactions, your emotions. And it's not just applicable in parenting, it's applicable at work, it's applicable everywhere. Sometimes you will, and you know, once you've said some things, you can't call them back. And the child will not forget what you have said. And the child is wondering, it passed right where I write for this wall? Or is it more than a glass cup I broke? Which of you did not break glass cup? So Saturday, 5th of June, please, it's on the parent schedule. Put it on your calendar and ensure that you are there. If you're out of town, we're going to be up online also. I think the hybrid meetings, it seems to work. So, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't show up. If you're in town, please show up. It's fun to be here. Second to the last thing, as you're going out, we have a mini resource center there. We have some books on parenting. We have some kid games, intelligent games that you may want to check out for your kids. It's you should. We have flash drives there. Now the flash drives are empty, but we're setting up a media desk. Where's James? James is going to have a desk maybe from next week. I'm not sure when they'll be ready, where we're going to have educational video content for different ages, which you can come and get from the school. But we will be careful not to collect everybody's flash drive. So whether you want to buy it now or you want to say, okay, you know what, put for grade 2 for me on the flash drive and I'll buy it with the flash. But we have enough brand new flash drives, and we have hybrid, the ones that can work on your phone and on your laptop, whether your phone is USB or Type-C. We have different ones, Type-C hybrid, USB hybrid, laptop. And so check out the desk there. They're exhaustive. So if you want them early, you may want to look at that early. And before we close, we have a few of our friends who are here. They are from a school that we've been talking with. Although we don't have any formal collaboration, but at least we can say we are friends. We are corporate friends. They are a school in Calabar called Surefoot, right? Surefoot International School. Surefoot. So they just showed up for our meeting, and okay, they want to probably say something for 1 or 2 minutes. Who is going to talk on your behalf? Just let's hear them. Let's hear what they want to say. And so if you are probably thinking you are exploring schools, you may just want to hear them. They'll be done in 2 minutes, and then this meeting will be over. So please indulge us for the next few minutes.
So thank you very much. Good afternoon, parents. It's indeed a pleasure and a privilege to be here. I want to thank the management of Brainy Hive for this wonderful opportunity. Okay, in a few minutes, what I would want to just talk about is, of course, we're learning a lot about parenting today. and very, very, very crucial and very, very important aspects of our children's development. And the most beautiful thing right now is that we're getting a very sound foundation